Hello and good morning to everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. My name is Purity Wanjiro. Those who have not attended any of our webinars before, I'm the director for Accurex, Leadership and Management Consultants Limited. We are a HR consulting firm. We do a lot of training, like just the one you're about to do. We also do team building, coaching, mentorship, recruitment, among all these HR services we have around. So I take this opportunity to welcome all of us, those who have already joined, and I know a few more or many more are also going to join us in this conversation. Today we're talking about self and team motivation during a crisis. We know it has been a very hard time for us here in Kenya and also for almost everyone else around the world. We are dealing with a crisis, and sometimes you wake up in the morning, you don't even have the energy to get out of bed. So during this conversation, we look forward to see how best am I able to motivate myself and also the team, because around you, you are working with teams. Either your family, which is made up of a team, or at your workplace, there are teams that are surrounding us. And if you are not able even to motivate yourself, then it becomes a very hard conversation to have on team motivation. To take us through this particular session is Nancy. Nancy is one of my friends and also a trainer with us here at Accurex. Nancy brings a lot of wealth of experience and knowledge, having over 20 years of experience in various leadership and management positions. She holds an MBA in strategic management, and she's currently doing her doctorate in business administration. So let us give her all the energy and tap from her wisdom, from her knowledge. Let's see how this session goes. As we continue with the session, I'll encourage you to ask as many questions as possible on our comment box, on our chat box. Also, feel free to let us know how the session is going on. Thank you so much. Nancy, karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Purity, for that very deep info about myself. And welcome all to this session today. It's a lovely morning. It's good to have you all here. So we are here to talk about some things that go through in our lives. You know, our lives are not the same. Our lives are not a straight curve. It's not all smooth. We have a deep curve sometimes, a high curve. But for us, because we need to move on, we all have goals, we all have things we want to achieve. The idea is to continue on and soldier on no matter what. That's why we are here to talk about self-motivation and team motivation during a crisis. So let's just begin because of time. I won't waste too much time. Okay. Now let's discuss about crisis. This word crisis, let's try and break it down to make it more clear in our minds. A crisis, you hear about crisis everywhere, you know. It could be a small crisis, a big crisis. It could be as small as maybe losing a job, losing a loved one. And I tried to pick something from Wikipedia here that defines in a very simple way crisis. No? It's derived from the Greek word crises, meaning an event that is ongoing or expected to go on to lead to an unstable and dangerous situation affecting an individual, a group, society. And in terms of meaning, it also means a time of testing or an emergency event. Some key words you can pick from this here is that it is an event. It begins from somewhere and ends somewhere. It's not a full-time thing. It happens and goes away. And sometimes it could be ongoing, or it's foreseen or supposed to be happening at some time. And it creates an unstable situation for you, yourself, individual, or a group, or a whole society. And it's a deep time of testing. That you must agree with me. It tests you, it tests your limits, it tests your resilience, and it calls for emergency in most cases. That has been discussed now as a crisis. So now, the thing about a crisis is not about what is going on in your life. It's not about the flood or the locust or a loved one. It's about the threat it presents to you. That is what now affects you as a person. And sometimes this threat can be seen, can be experienced by individuals, or maybe a neighborhood, a family, a country, or even a business. And this is what is real to you as a threat. And a threat can impact any of three areas of our lives. It can impact your public safety, as your whole personal safety of yourself, maybe your health, your well-being, or family. It can also impact your finances or your economic situation. You can lose a job, you can lose even income if you're a business person, or property as well. It also impacts your livelihood and how you live, your everyday life, how you move, where you go, what you do. So that is the three areas that I'm going to talk about about the crisis, and it's about the threat. Think about what it does to you as a person. And the whole idea of a threat, it affects not just your physical, but even your mental well-being. Okay? So let's address our current crisis that we have right now, COVID-19. It's a global crisis, isn't it? And let's agree that it affects maybe all the three areas of our lives: public safety, your own health and safety. You can get sick, and even you can lose financially. You can lose maybe a job, or maybe if you're a business person, you can lose your business, or you can even lose income. And also our livelihoods have been somehow interrupted. We can't be who we have always been. Our normal has been held back. We can't walk around, go to work, meet our friends and families. It's a disruption, so to speak. But the way the brain has been wired, the way God made our brain, is that it has a narrow focus on a threat. It can't absorb a threat as 100%, the entire scope. It absorbs a threat in stages, in phases, slowly by slowly, We digest one area. So this has happened. So now what? And that way, we start to currently trying to identify with the crisis and begin to ask ourselves some questions such as this. What is actually happening? What is going on? You hear this thing going on. It's a threat, it's COVID, or it's a flood, or it's terror. You're trying to understand what this threat is all about. Yeah? And then you ask yourself, what am I thinking and feeling about this? So I'm thinking that this COVID can infect me, I can infect my family, or I could even die, Or this flood can carry me away, take away my home, or this terror threat can actually put me in a place where I can be a target for the terrorists, for example. And what am I feeling about it? I'm feeling fearful, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling uncertain. So these things begin to run in your mind. Your brain it goes on a overdrive. You're thinking and feeling things. And then you ask yourself, how does this affect my life or my work or family or finances? It does affect our lives. COVID, for example, the way you live, the way you work, how you work and where you work, even family, and how they live. Are they safe? Will they survive this COVID? Even your finances, if you're a business person, will my business survive? Will my clients be there? Do I have enough money to sustain me? And then lastly, action. What will I do? Is my action in the face of this threat? So these are 4 key areas that you may ever ask yourself. Maybe you went through them as you absorbed the threat of COVID. And let's look back and see what a threat does to you. A threat basically can be either very close to you or very far from you. And depending on how far that threat is or how close it is how deep you feel threatened. Now, let's think about how COVID-19 began. It began in China. We heard about it last year in December. We were hearing about the news, what's going on in Wuhan. Yes?
Hold on. It seems a few people are not able to hear us. Can you try to turn on your mic, Rhoda? I hope now you're able to hear us.
Yes, I'm good now. Thank you.
All right. Continue, Nancy.
Okay. So what I was saying was, let's think back about the threat we have now, COVID-19, and how it all began. We all know it began sometime end of last year in China, Wuhan. And we're reading about what's going on there, that there's this big virus, it's killing people, it's infecting people, it's passed on. And we were told, of course, it needs you to be hygienically clean, wash your hands, keep a distance, drink warm water, all that. So we kept hearing and reading about this thing that's very far away from us, but we never felt the threat of it because of the distance of where it was. And then it moved on to other places. The larger Asian continent, it went to Europe, America, and then came to Africa. He began in West Africa, and then he went to South Africa. And still we felt, well, we are still safe here. It's not here yet. And then the first case was announced in Kenya in the month of March. The threat was real because it is here with us. So a threat can only be real to you depending on the proximity of how far it is. And because we have felt it, we all asked these questions in our own way. You know, what's happening, what's going on, and you took action. So moving on. Once you feel the threat of crisis, there's some behaviors that you'll experience or you will see around yourself. Some experience most of them or a few of them that are put up there. You might experience disbelief or denial, you know, deny and say it's not here, I can't get it. And some did that, you know. In Uganda to Nairobi. So you can deny and say you don't want to know about the disease. Or you can become numb. Just say I've been a shell, it won't affect me, I'm safe. And you might experience increased use of alcohol or drugs to try and hide away, to shell ourselves. And maybe experience some moments of anger, moodiness, being irritable, always being on the edge, you know. And sometimes even sleeping disorders. You might sleep less or more or have nightmares, yeah, panic attacks. You feel withdrawn from others. And then you have no more interest of doing what you like to do, like your work or even the fun things you like to do. So you may experience these things. Most of them, a few of them, but it's normal. You're a human being. You will react to a threat of a crisis. It's normal, all right? But the idea here is to stay above the behavior that can deprive you of your motivation or your morale or your will to continue living as you should. So accept that you're human. If you're feeling any of this, embrace them. We are all human beings, okay? We have emotions, as we were told last week by the speaker. Okay, so the biggest thing about the threat of a crisis is how it isolates you. Not about the physical isolation, but about the mental isolation in your mind. As you ask yourself those issues about accepting this threat, you know, what is going on? What am I feeling? What do I do? It's happening in the mind. And you think because of what you're going through, experiencing, you are alone in this. It could be a global thing, a communal threat, but you still feel you're alone, you're withdrawn. And it can be damaging to your mind, your psychological well-being, and it can erode you of any morale you have to go on or motivation. So the first thing to think about is where you are in your mind. And motivation is about the mind. It starts in the mind and the will to remain above the threat of the crisis. Now let's try and define a few more terms of motivation that we are there, the core of our topic today. So I want to define it very simply for you that it's a factor that encourages people or a person to give their very best performance in reaching their goals. So the key words here are encouraging and reaching goals. Everyone has goals of different kinds. You have your own personal goals, maybe career goals, business goals, family goals, and there are many. Yeah. And for you to achieve those goals or the visions or objectives, you have to be at a place where you are uplifted, encouraged. So here we're saying motivation brings you from a place of discouragement or a low place to a place where you're encouraged to do the best you can to achieve them. Okay. So now we can try and define self-motivation. Here we can say it's the ability to do what needs to be done. Okay. Whatever you must do to achieve those goals you have, personal, business, family, career, without the influence of any other person or situation. So the key word here is without the influence of any other outside parties. It's about you. It's an intrinsic state of mind that tells you, you tell yourself that I will do this, this is me, it's only me who can help myself, and I will do it no matter what. It sounds very easy on paper, but it's not that simple because the mind, as you know, is very shifty. Today it's high, tomorrow it's low. But somebody who is well and fully motivated can have a reason and the strength to complete a task or to do what they need to do, challenges or not, in and out of crisis at any time without giving up, whether you fail or you succeed, but you keep pushing on and to encourage yourself without anybody else encouraging you. That's the key thing about self-motivation. It is not something you decide to do today and stop tomorrow. It is a continuous thing that you must keep doing for yourself. It never ends. In crisis, out of crisis, when the curve is down low in your life, when it's high there, you keep doing it, even more so now in a crisis. Okay, so now, having said that, it's a very, very valuable trait and something we'd like to have all of us, very valuable for us to have. It's very envious. What is the foundation of our self-motivation? Where do you start from? I can say it starts from having 3 factors that you can focus on. The first factor is clarifying your vision. Have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. If you have career goals, what does success look like at the end of it? If you have personal goals, what does success look like? What is the end of it all? What are you visualizing as the best part of it? So you have that goal right there, and first make it very clear to yourself. Put it down and say, this is what I want to achieve, and I want to be here in the next 2 years, 1 year, 3 months. Secondly, you must take full charge of your life and the actions that you take towards that vision, towards what you want to achieve. You're the CEO of your own life. This is your vision, what you want to accomplish. Nobody else is there to help you. So you must drive that car. It is yours, and you're responsible 100%. And then lastly, chart a way forward. Chart a strategy on how you're going to achieve that vision, okay? How are you going to go about it? What are you going to do now, in the next 1 year, 2 months? So have like a journey, it's called what? Like a route plan towards that vision. So once you clarify these 3 things and you're ready to say, let me now start my journey to self-motivation because I have my foundation well laid out. Now, I want to ask you a question, all of us. Take a scale of 1 to 10, and how do you rate your level of self-motivation right now, this morning? Is it a 5, a 2, an 8? It could be anything, okay? As we're saying, it's a journey. You can start from 0 and moving on. And out of these 3 areas I discussed just now, these factors above there, which one can help you self-motivate right now to help your rating get better? Maybe it's about having a vision, to clarify your vision, make it very clear. Or charting the way forward to that vision. It could be any of them or 3 of them. But the first thing is to have those 3 very, very clear in your mind, and then you can start your journey on self-motivation. So moving on, I was saying earlier, it's not a very easy thing to motivate yourself. People struggle with it. Even the best people who have been motivators struggle every day. And it's something you must do continuously in and out of crises, and even more in the crisis. So I'd say here that self-motivation is like a muscle. You know, body muscle? You all have body muscles, biceps and all that. The more you work them, the more you work on them and you use them, the stronger and the more resilient they get, because you cannot just decide today I'll get motivated and get motivated. No, it's consistent, daily, hourly, throughout your life. You'll be doing it for the rest of your lives. Now, a few points here I can share with you that I've seen have worked for me and for others. And I'm sure at the end of it all, you'll have more that you can share with us because the list is endless. Now, the first thing to say is have an extra motivated people who are positive, people who are very, very, they're called what? They never say die people who are always upbeat, yeah? Have a network of them that you can talk to every now and then, every day. Pick a few of them because seeing what they are, they're like a role model to your life and how it can be to be motivated. So tap into that network and keep it going and keep them close to you. At the same time, avoid the negative people, toxic people who are always negative, very demotivated, never good thing to say, including even some sites, you know, and some groups, social media, you know, negative things, negative messages that deprive your morale, your level of motivation, because sometimes you can be having good friends who motivate you, and then the bad ones who just erode everything away from you. So stay away from them. You can even just leave those groups or just mute them, but don't feed your mind on the negative. Again, here I remind to say, it's about the mind. It's about a mindset, yeah, self-motivation. You can also read some good motivating books or messages. You know, they are there online or physically. You can buy a book every now and then. Find them, even some podcasts of some people who speak motivational things. So find 1 or 2 of them. I have some 2 that I like to go to every now and then. They motivate you and make you feel that you can be where you want to be. You can be better than you are right now. And then moving on, I'd say that in every day, have a daily schedule, no matter what, even more so now in the crisis. You know, before the crisis hit us, we had a schedule. If you are going to work, you know what time you get up and how you go to work and what you do and how you end your day. And maybe now because of the crisis we are in, we have been, we don't have the same schedule. Maybe you're working from home, for example, or your work is not as it is, or you have no job yet, or you have nothing to do anymore. But form yourself a daily schedule that you can stick to, because you want to avoid those empty gaps of those empty hours that make your mind start thinking, because the mind can take you up and down, as we said. So have your time for getting up, what you do, even just reading, connect you to the network of people who are positive, or doing things that keep your mind thinking ahead and moving on to your vision and your goals, because they must be accomplished. And also, don't try and do everything that you had planned to do earlier. You cannot do everything. The things you had planned to do for this quarter, this month, have been disrupted. So what is important first to be done? What things must you do today? Must you achieve this week or this month? Yeah. So first thing first, to drop some things, it will happen when it does. But don't get bogged down in doing everything you plan to do. It's a different time. Secondly, I'd say here, plan your finances, your spending habits, okay? In a crisis, money, finances have a way of getting thinner and thinner. No one knows how long you'll be in this crisis. We've all suffered some loss in some way, maybe a loss or low income. We have lost maybe some money we had planned to get. And you must plan a budget and you stick to it, because you need to know that you require to have A, B, C, D. The first thing is to survive and stay alive. You must eat, have shelter, maybe pay your rent, make a list like that. And you'll find that the things that you thought you needed or you always needed are not there anymore. Like for me, I've done a budget and I've realized that some things I've always had in my budget are not very clear anymore. I don't require them anymore because I've lived without them for a whole month. So I have thought about what I need to stay safe, hygienic products, I must eat well. So stick to that kind of budget. Don't overspend. Hold on to that shilling and make it stretch further. And then to add here, it's good to have a quiet time on your own quiet time, your own clear space for yourself, where you shut off all the gadgets, you put off the music, put off the news, your phone, and find a quiet place or a quiet room somewhere where you can be on your own to think, to reflect on what you're doing, where you are, how far have you gone, what do you need to do, priorities of what you want to do first. To distress also, and even to relax, yeah? You must relax. The mind, the body must relax. You have to have some me time. It's very good for you because it motivates you and gives you a clarity of thought and a distressful mind. So don't forget that every day. It could be outside, take a walk, or find a place somewhere where it's nice and quiet, where there's no noise, no more noise. Just step away from it. So moving on, I'd say there are a few points I want to add. Take care of your physical and your mental health, your body and your mind, because you need the two of them to be healthy and to work together, to be motivated, and to move towards your vision. So have a good hygienic habit, Of course, now because of COVID, we have no choice. We have to wash our hands, we have to wear a mask, distance, and just remain healthy and eat a balanced diet. Eat some good healthy foods that are within your budget you can afford. We're lucky to be in Kenya where we can have a good, we have small markets around us. You can go and grab some burgers that are well priced, nothing processed, and eat a good balanced diet. Now, when it comes to your mind, again here, the mind is a key thing or the factor that helps you motivate yourself. It's what you're feeding it on, what you're exposing it on. Every day, have some time to exercise your body, at least 45 minutes. That is what your physical and mental body requires. It's good for your heart, it's good for your well-being, it's good for your brain. So pick your own program. For one, I love the gym, but now the gyms are closed, so I have to modify my own program. So I have to go online and find something I like maybe a dance. I like dancing, the dance channels. Depending on what you are, if you're an outdoor person and you can go out and run or walk, do that, yeah? If somebody who likes to lift some weight or something, pick something in the house, modify and use what you have. Weight lift, do some push-ups, use a staircase. Or if you're at work and you have a staircase somewhere, use that staircase to go up and down. So modify it your own way. Ideally here is what you want to have is do something that makes your heart rate go a bit higher and makes you break a sweat somehow. So choose. And as we told last week, that in the mind, when you exercise, there's something that happens in your mind. There's some feel-good chemicals that come out of your mind called endorphins that distress you and relax you. Very good for your mind, okay? And also you can try to discover something new, learn a new skill or improve your skills or a hobby, you know? And who knows, that skill could be the next thing you need for the next season after COVID, after the crisis. Yeah? If you're an ICT person, learn ICT skills, improve them. You're somebody who works in a different trade, find that trade and improve it. Even a hobby. There's some guys who are doing hobbies such as stitching or knitting, and now they're using that to stitch masks, and they're making money out of it. So who knows what you require? So find that skill and hone it, or find something new that you never had time to, and now because you have time, you can improve on that, okay? So moving on, put away any regrets of the past mistakes, you know, misfortunes, what you have lost, opportunities. Let them stay behind there. They're in the past. What happened did not happen, leave it there. Do not go back there, because going back there erodes your confidence and your will to move on and get motivated. What did not happen before COVID has not happened, it will not happen, but you have a new chance to do something better and learn from it, and it's called today, and you can be better and be motivated to get something more than what you lost. I'll add here that it is good to self-affirm yourself, because the world out there has many things that's going on right now. They have no time for you maybe, and nobody will affirm you, but affirm yourself. That may look different to anybody. You can have your own set of words you want to affirm yourself with every day. You can tell yourself, I am strong. I can do whatever I desire to do. So whatever that looks like to you, do it daily, because when you hear your own voice affirming yourself, there's nothing more powerful, because nobody can doubt what you say about yourself. Who you say you are and what you say you can do, only you can do, and nobody can doubt that. So keep doing it. It's a good habit. The last thing I'll add here is to embrace your spiritual side, you know, connect to a higher power. You can call him God. I call him God, who's above all the crises, whatever they are. It could be COVID, a death, a loss. There's a power that you can see that is more powerful, that can give you hope to carry you through your crisis. It shall be over soon. It will not be here for long. This too shall pass. And there are more things you can do. Maybe you can share later, but there's so much you can do and learn on how to motivate yourself. It's a journey. It continues to the end of your life. You'll never stop doing it. Now, moving on, a few of us have teams that we lead, maybe at work, maybe at home, in your business, in your family. Whatever you're doing, you have people you depend on to achieve some results that are good for you, that are common for you. Even at home, you have a team, you have a family, and you want to motivate them because sometimes they're looking for somebody else to motivate them. And if you're a leader of some sort, you do require to motivate them. So before you do that, motivate yourself and continue on motivating yourself. Now, in a leadership position, people don't just look for you for leadership and direction. They look for you for motivation. And even more so in a crisis, because they have nobody else to look up to. And being a leader, we have this thing that people look at us like we have all the answers. You know everything. You are invincible, and you're fine. So just know that you must motivate them at this time. As we were saying earlier, that this COVID has got many people in different places in their lives. Many emotions have been driven out. There's fear, there's confusion, sadness, anger, anxiety. So all those things are going on in your team's mind. And the biggest fear they have that you must know, maybe you don't know, you know it, is the fear of losing their job, losing their positions, losing their income. Because that is everything for them. Because they also have their own goals. They have to pay, maybe they're in school, pay their school fees. They have families to feed, dependents. So they have that fear of losing their job. Yeah. So all these fears and confusion are there. Penthouse dependent, they are there. So for you, you want to create an atmosphere where they feel embraced, they feel they're confident, that they are cared for, and that you're there with them and you understand what they are going through, and you're going to continue to embrace them as part of the team members. And being the most valuable asset, your team at work, in your business, or in your farm, is what you need to motivate. Now, the biggest element about the employees or team member is that they want to feel they belong to a team. They are part of a team, and their contribution is important. And they have value, they bring value. They don't just come to work to appear, to clock in and to clock out. What they do is valued and you see them. So for you, embrace them because they want to feel that they belong somewhere. Embrace them first of all, and create an uplifting atmosphere of encouraging, of inclusiveness, and making feel that you see them and you care for them. Now, the biggest factor or the anchor around motivating your team is a term that we've all had before. It's called empathy. I'm sure you all heard about empathy and what it means. Everything you do around motivating your team is anchored around empathy. And empathy, briefly, is just a genuine caring feeling about your people and wanting the best of them. You care enough for them to get the best of them, to bring out the best of them, and you're willing to see as they see and to feel as they feel. So it's basically about walking in somebody's shoes or getting into their skin to be in the place where they are. Again, here as a leader, people look up to you and they think leaders have no problems, they have no issues, they are fine, you know, but the very, very fact that you can come down to their level and just listen to them and just hear them and make them feel that, yes, I see you, I know what you're going through, what can I do? Okay? Again, it's about the mind, it's how they perceive you. Now, empathy is not easy, again here. These things we are saying here are difficult things. They must take practice, they must take a lot of effort. You must do it as an act of your will as a leader to be empathetic to your team. Sometimes you may even have to have that one person you can take away and focus more on them. It's about being there, even more so now in a crisis where everybody has all these fears running around and uncertainty. You need to be more empathetic. Now, this may not solve everything, all their problems. You may not even be able to solve even half the problems. The thing about empathy is that you are there for them, that they experienced you coming down from your level as a leader to be where they are and to feel and walk in their shoes. That they can never forget. Even if you just listened to what they are saying and you show that you care. Or even share your story of how you were once low somewhere, low down your life and how it happened for you. They can say, they also have hard times. So empathy is everything you need to have as a leader. So let them be there, let them know that you're available for them, that you care for them, avail yourself and show some compassion. So whatever else you do to motivate your team is circled around empathy. Now, branching through this area of motivating your team around empathy, you can say that every now and then you need to communicate more and more to your team, you know, get to know where they are in their lives personally, about their work goals and what they can achieve, what they need to achieve first, and help them plan the activities they need to do. Because something that you said earlier, that your plan for the entire quarter, as far as June, is now disrupted. So help them reevaluate their goals, their work goals, and their own goals, and work together in teams. And at the same time, you want to be futuristic as a leader. You want to talk about the future, you know, create long-term goals. So you have short-term goals going on here, what you're doing this week, this month, but talk in terms of when we start the next quarter, or maybe in July and September in terms of we. And that way they'll feel they're part of the company or the business in the future. They'll still be there. Because they're all wondering, will you be there in July? Will you be there next month? There are all those things going on in their minds. Again, the mind here is busy throughout. You know, there was a solution. So let them feel a part of the future. And even you as a leader, the tone that you have in all you're doing, not just the voice, what tone do you have as a leader? Do you have an inspirational leadership or tone? Are you affirming them? Do you see what they do? Are you there with them? Are you saying, well done? Are you being kind to them? So again, your tone here will show that you care for them and they can continue moving on as part of a team and you embrace them and you care for them. At the same time, try to identify those people who are always motivated. There's some guys who are just born to be self-motivators. You know, they're always upbeat and they're happy. If you can find even just one or two of those guys, you have won half the battle. Bring them in and use them to help you motivate other people. Call them together and tell them, look, you guys have seen me, people who are positive. First of all, they will feel, of course, number one, you have been seen. So they're always in obligation. Then tell them, look, I want to help me motivate those teams that you have down there. See what you can do. How can we do it? And allow them to speak and to act on their own because they're creative, they're motivative, and they know those guys very well, they know what to do. So work with them and discuss things with them every now and then, touch base with them every now and then. And also, at the same time, when you have those people who are positive, there's some guys who are negative, difficult people who are very hard to motivate, they always be there. So you want to move them away from the good people who want to motivate, put them away and let them be on their own and deal with them separately. Because if you keep them with the other guys, they will start sowing seeds of negativity and all the efforts will be eroded. So put them aside and address them aside and talk to them and ask them, so what is going on? we're trying to be motivated here, but I think you're coming against our efforts. What can we do? What can I do for you? But there's some people there, maybe they have issues. They have things that are going on in their lives that they have no idea how to resolve, and they're becoming negative. Help them go through them. Yeah, they require some more time off, maybe. They require more help. Find more help for them, because you cannot solve everybody's problems as a leader. You have your own achievement targets. You have your own leadership and managing issues. You cannot take care of everybody's details. Find them the right help, but move them away and deal with them away from others, so you can be able to focus on the ones that are motivated to achieve the things you want to achieve through them. Something else you can do is to plug the leaks of rumors and fake news. People talk a lot. People speculate a lot around the place. So you must communicate the right message every time and consistently communicate and give the right information throughout to close the gaps of those rumors and information, the grapevine. I think now they will lay us off next week. Things are so bad. So all those negatives are the ones that you're trying to avoid, because they're going to erode all your efforts that you're trying to make to motivate people. Yeah. So keep informing them, briefing them, communicate throughout. And also to keep the team together, initiate some CSR activities. It can be as small or as big as you want them to be. But here you want to involve your team members. Ask them, what can we do? Like out there, guys have no food or they have no mask. Find a common problem that you can identify yourselves and let the team suggest what they can do. And that will make them feel that they're in a better place than others out there. They can be able to help others. They feel I'm better than somebody out there who has no food. Me, I have food today. So it gives a sense of well-being, knowing that I can help somebody else. It's called a fulfillment that comes from giving back. It's very motivating. It could be a small thing. Maybe say, let's all buy a packet of unga or forfeit our lunch for a day or 2 days and come together and go and give. That again creates a team spirit. We're together. We're helping out together. Yeah, very fulfilling. And also treat them with compassion. Don't lose your head. Yes, things are harsh. The world is harsh out there. Everything sounds negative. You also have your own target. You have a boss who's pushing you somewhere, and things can get to a place where you start getting edgy. But keep your cool. Don't start blasting them. Don't start changing your tone. If you feel you're in a place where you need to just step away, step away. Okay? Leave early, or find that network that helps you motivate yourself, or get a time to just walk out and just breathe, have your me time. But the words that you speak and the things that you project right now can either make or break your team in this journey of motivating them. Okay? At the same time as you're leading, lead by example. You're the leader, How you model your team is how they will look at you. If you're told to distance each other, don't come very close. Keep distance. If you're being told to wear your mask, wear your mask. If you're being told, let your staff leave by 4 because there's curfew, let them go by 4 o'clock. So by leading by example, by role modeling, is how they will feel that this person actually is leading the right way, and they can trust you to even motivate them and to lead them well. Okay? And then work on your own motivation the same way. Don't stop. Keep doing it. Your networks, your reading, what you put in your mind, that must never stop. Even more now in a crisis. Continue building up on it. Never stop. And also, applaud good achievements and reward them. Someone has done something good, no matter how big or small, applaud them individually and say, well done, I like what you did. I like what you're doing about this. Or publicly in the team and say, this guy has done this thing well. It's very motivating for that person who has done something well. It also makes other guys think like, oh, I can achieve something like him. Let me push myself a bit harder and achieve something good for my boss to see and tell me I've done very well. So again, here, words, what you're putting in their minds is what will motivate them. And something I'll say here, there are many team building programs we have in our teams at a place of work or in our business, big or small. Continue to do them. Don't stop doing them. Okay? Of course, right now we have a different issue of distancing. You cannot do some things you do like on a Friday, going nyamachoma or going out for a trek. Find what works for you that makes you a team. You, the leader, being a team leader, you're together with them. Agree on what works for you. Don't stop it, because that's what is motivating. That is what it's all about. Inclusiveness. That's what rings in their heads. And also find a way of benchmarking, learning from others, what others doing about motivating others, best practices. You can't have all the answers as a leader. You don't know everything. And we're always learning new things to motivate, to encourage. Talk to your networks or other people What are you guys doing? How do you motivate your staff? What are you doing? Exchange notes, and you will learn a lot. Yeah? And we get to somewhere where you want to engage someone to come and talk to them, an expert, to just come and motivate you, do so. You can have a friend who does motivational speaking, or one of your networks who can agree to come and do pro bono speeches. Let them come one day and just speak to all of you. Support this whole thing you're doing on motivation, yeah? Because even you need to hear some more things, motivate yourself somehow. And the last thing I'll say here is to keep a door open policy, meaning you're available for all of them, you're available to them. Anytime they can come to you. So be available to listen, to help, to coach, to mentor, whatever they require you to be as a leader, be there. Have time. When they check in, don't say, I'm busy. Yes, how can I help you? That goes a whole load of way to help motivate your team. So this is something continuous, and I'm sure there are much, much more that we can do out there as a team leader to motivate. You can share more with us later. Because of time, I'm just giving you a few briefs of what you can do to motivate your team. Now, at this time, I do realize we have some teams that are working remotely from home because of the COVID-19. They can't be together, and I'm one of them. So one of the things being away from others is that you're always away. You feel like you're alone, you're isolated, and you require to be even more motivated. So for those who have teams that are working remotely, the first thing you must do is continuously communicate. That's the only thing you have anyway, because they're distance. Communicate and have a strong platform of communication. Choose the one that works for everybody, that they can all access. If they require the help that maybe require like maybe some bundles or some airtime or what they require to be communicating, give it to them, because you need them to communicate back to you. And also encourage continuous and frequent communication. You can set a time, maybe daily in the morning, or once a week, or once every 2 weeks. Agree and make it more like a video prayer where they can all see each other. You know, because you're alone in your room, in your house. If I see your face, I'm happy. We're together, you know. So have such meetings and also help them understand that even if they're far apart, you still have them in your thoughts, and ask them where they are. How are their lives? How is your family? How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? So first catch up about personal issues, then talk about work. It will be a good time to also review your goals and objectives for the work you're all doing, because of course with the COVID or the crisis, everything was disrupted. All the goals you had made, the things you had planned to do have been changed maybe. So agree on what needs to be done by when, or review or reestablish them, and then now allocate who is doing what, or the same thing guys who are doing it, how far are they, and have a reporting structure. At the same time, you can also give your employees or your team members a chance to grow in capacity, you know, stretch them a bit more. Somebody has been doing one thing for a long time, add something else, you know, stretch them, make them feel they can do more than what they have been doing. And by that, you're telling them that you believe they can be more than what they have been doing, and you trust them to achieve that goal. So stretch them, make them feel important. I'm adding you this more. So next week, give us the add on this project I'm giving you. They feel again that they are still valued, they are still there, and again, they'll be there for a longer time. Now, remote teams have one thing in common, and I'll say it for myself as well, time management. You know, being away in the house, in your own space, you can lose time because you're in your own place, you're relaxing, the distractions, there's a TV there, family's there. So they need to be given some tips and to be helped to remain focused on time management. Yeah, that we begin work at this time, the meeting's at 8:30, and they have this work to do, then I'll break for lunch, I'll come back and do this, and I'll post this on the screens. So it's all those tips that are required to be given, because they will lose it. It's normal, because we are so used to having a space where we're all together, so time is controlled for us. But when you're away, it's a whole different thing, I can tell you for sure. No matter how far you're working away from each other, you as a leader must maintain the culture of work that happens when you're on site or away. It must continue. The behaviors, the values you have always been having, transparency, you know, accountability, all those values, all those cultures must be established. So you as a leader must say that don't forget that you always have a 1 week or 2 days grace period to submit your projects, and that remains. Don't forget, you must always be compassionate, you must be kind, use the right language. So remind them that the culture remains, because this event will end and you'll come again together in the same space and work together again and continue from where you left the face-to-face thing. You may also provide some mentorship or coaching or training opportunities when you need the help. They're far from your office. It could be remotely somewhere. If they require coaching on something, some skills or some areas of their life, give it to them online. Some training on some skills, like you're doing now with Accurex, they can tap into some program somewhere. You can find that's good for them to improve the performance and to improve also of how they're feeling, feel motivated. Don't say that because they're working, must go on working far away. They need to feel a connectivity and a sense of normalcy that they normally have. Because they're team building here, they're getting coaching here, they're being trained here. They're not alone. Again, the thing of isolation here in the mind is not there. As you go on with the program, be creative about how you motivate your teams and your staff, because you know them better. No matter how far they are, find ways of keeping them motivated. Yeah, you can post a daily motivation, a weekly one, or the group meetings you have, or you can share or watch something together, or watch a coaching together, watch something together. Just do something that makes them feel that they are valued and they're important. So with that now, I think I've come to the end of my discussion. It's time. Is it time now, Purity?
Yes, it's we're just 1 minute past the presentation, but thank you so much, Nancy.
Yes.
I believe we've learned a lot from you. You have a lot of wisdom to share. I hope by living here, we live a better, motivated team and also motivated as individuals. We'll take up a few questions at this time. We have a question from Teresia Karanja. How to motivate employees who are at home on unpaid leave or pay cuts, or whose income has been suspended during this period. You've gotten that one?
Yes.
Yes.
So employees who are away, who are remotely away, who are not working with you yet, they are away from you, isn't it? Huh?
Yes, they are on unpaid leave. Others are on pay cuts.
Unpaid leave.
And others are on their income have been suspended during this period.
Okay. It's not your wish that they have lost their job or they have to be away from work and they have no income. All you can do is just be, again, empathy. It's the beginning and the end of the entire self-motivating culture. Get in touch with them, keep tabs with them. Don't lose contact with them. Encourage them as the best you can, because maybe the pay is not because you don't want to pay them. You don't have money to pay them as a business person, the business owner. You can encourage them and tell them, look here, maybe you can try and find a skill. What can you do to raise some money? What can I help you with? What can you do? Can you knit? Can you do something that can help you raise money? Or can you find somebody or somewhere to go and stay for a while? Or how can I help you get through somewhere that requires you to be given help? Or maybe you can do a CSR with your friends and say, this person has no job, they have no pay, they have children. Can we come together now with your networks? Can we support this person? Or do you have something they can do for you at your place of work or maybe at your home because you care for them? Again, here it's empathy. Yeah, don't just dump them. Okay, again, the thing about isolation in the mind is the worst thing you can have for them. Let them feel you still care for them, because when things get up and running, you will need them. Yeah, and how you treat them now in this time will show that either you care or you don't care, and they won't forget what you do for them. Do the best you can, as far as you can, of course. It's a hard time.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Nancy. We move on to the next question by Winifred Akelo. Kindly explain the point of plug the leaks again. I'll encourage you, if you wish to have this presentation, kindly leave us your email address. We should share with you this presentation and more information that you have for this particular topic. Nancy, the point of plug the leaks.
Now, plugging the leaks, I was saying that it's in quotes. You're trying to block those gaps of communication in the place of work or in the business. When you're not communicating enough and giving the right information to your team, they will have their own mail going around. There'll be rumors. There'll be fake news going around, yeah? If you're saying that, yes, we'll be here for the next 2 months, you're getting you're getting your pay, there's no pay cut, tell them that. In writing or not, be the one to communicate the correct message. You don't communicate to your people, your team, you leave a gap of communication and they fill it to their own way with rumors, fake news, speculation, I think now because things are so bad, they will close down. So try and block that, because that is now what is going to erode your motivation for your staff, for your people. So plug all those leaks or those plugs, those holes. I should have said plug the holes or the gaps to make it clear.
All right. Another question from P30. How does one deal with the panic mode and confusion?
Panic mode and confusion.
Yeah.
That is normal. You're a human being, Peter, and panic will be there. There will be fear. There are all those things we said earlier. Emotions will all feel them. But what you must tell yourself now, you know what? This panic won't get me anywhere. This fear will deprive me of my morale, and I have to keep going. So you must rise above them and tell yourself, I am strong. Affirm yourself maybe. And say, I have my life to lead. I am well. I have my future. This is an event. It will end. It won't be here for a long time. Yeah. Think about the past you have come from, your own crisis or you've had, losses of job, loved ones, and you came through them. And as I was saying, the curve of life can have a slight dip or a deeper dip and a high one. So prepare yourself and try and rise above all those by doing the things I was telling you to do earlier. Affirm yourself, be positive, tap into positive energy throughout. It takes the effort. It's not easy. Yeah. You must purpose to tell yourself, if you need help, find somebody who can help you walk through the journey, somebody who is stronger in motivation than you, but it's up to you to rise above it. Or find a helper to help you rise above it. Because it will end. But it will not help you at all, it will destroy you.
Okay.
I hope it's helping.
Yes, I hope it helps as well. We have another question from Eunice Gekonyo. What is the best way to measure productivity for the team during this time, especially those working remotely?
Okay, very good question. It's also something I've heard about before. Because you're working remotely and you're not able to envision what people are doing, it will be good, as I said earlier, to reevaluate the tasks and the goals and the things to be done. Mm-hmm. Because they're not able to do everything you have planned and you cannot see, give them feasible, feasible goals, and find a way of having a measure for them. If somebody is required to maybe do a task that lasts for 2 days, maybe they're inputting data or they're writing a proposal, give some timelines that are practical for them. And because now we have all these communication guides, they can send an email to you, they can share a document to you, agree with them that by the end of tomorrow, you should have done this so far, and I will measure it using this way. I'll see how much you have done. Number of projects, number of proposals, number of pages, agree on a measure together. Unless you do together, agree together, you'll not measure because they'll not know what you want to find out. So find a feasible and in small bits. Don't pressurize them too much. Don't give them too much. And maybe depending on how somebody is at that time, they can't do too much maybe. Allow them some time out and do them as they are. Those you can stretch, but allocate what is feasible and use simple metrics to measure them and agree on them. But depending on what you're doing, of course, is what you're going to use as a metric.
Okay, Nancy, we still have 2 more questions on remote working. One is from Alice Kari. For remote teams, how do you draw the line between micromanagement and normal follow-ups? Let me also read the other question on remote teams from Liz Akinyi. For remote teams, how do you handle effective performance management? Kindly share your experience.
Okay, so the first was about how do you manage without micromanaging remotely?
And yes, without micromanaging and normal follow-ups, like how do you draw the line between the two?
Okay.
So it doesn't seem like you're just
working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The thing about remote working is that it is depending on, okay, you are alone, you work alone, the boss is away from you, and again, you're your own boss here. Now, I was saying earlier, it's good to schedule meeting time, one-on-one time with your team member or group meeting times with the whole team. Now, you have to agree. Can we meet once a week as a group? Or can I be dealing with you every day or every 2 days to see how far you have gone with your work? or you can even call me even when I'm not calling you. Call me and ask me what I can help you with. So you have to agree on this, because sometimes, as you're saying, you can be too much in their face because they are far away. It's tempting because you're used to having them around you. But you have to agree and draw a line and say, I'll be calling you every 2 days, but if you have an issue, call me every day, or log into my Zoom me when you need me to. But it's about agreement. If you're having a group meeting, you can say every week or every 2 weeks, but on one-on-one, you must agree on that. That how far have you gone? When can I check on you again? Is it tomorrow? So ask them when and how. Agree on a time and say, I'll call you tomorrow morning, discuss tomorrow evening, or by the next day, I'll have sent it to you. It's about agreeing. And because they're mature people and believe in that, they will do as you agree. Because you don't want to leave it very, very open, that you just call me when I'm having my lunch or my shower because you're my boss. We have to agree on some timelines and when, and commit to them. That's one way. The next one was about performance management for remote teams.
Yeah, for remote teams, yes.
Okay. That again is something we're all learning, because we have our metrics made for the normal, business quarter, month, and all that. The first thing I'll say is to reevaluate your goals and your objectives and what you had planned to do. I said that earlier, because we may not be able to achieve all that we had planned to do. We may have to reevaluate and say, now instead of doing 20, we can do 10. Then we can look and see how much more you can do, for example. It will take some time because we are still learning, but you need to find a way that you can both agree on how much that person can do when they're away from the office remotely, because people are working in different places. Some have families at home, interruptions. Some have issues that they must deal with that are bigger than others. So you may have to have a face-to-face or one-to-one talk with people and tell them, where are you now? Can you achieve this? Can we measure this by this time? Can you achieve at least more than this? So it's about agreeing and coming in between. It's more of as I kept saying, communicate, talk to each other. And empathy here means understand that I'm not the same anymore. This thing is big for me. I can do this. I can try and do this. Give me some 2 days off to plan something else. And involve them as much as possible and be the listener, be the one to just listen to them and facilitate the whole motion, the way it moves. So don't try and be so strict and start on how we have said we'll be measuring this like this. Be more accommodating, yeah? Let them also have their say in that, because it's tough. I've never done it before, but now I'm learning to, and it's about understanding, engaging, being a facilitator, being an encourager, and being somebody who is just a coach to help you as you try to achieve your objectives. It's a bit challenging, but it's possible. It's engaging each other.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. I think we have 1 minute for one more question before we call it to an end. Kindly move to our contact page. The next question, or the last question, is from Teresia Karanja. As a HR, how do you cushion yourself from negative comments from colleagues who are hurting or going through difficult financial situations? How do you keep your head high, knowing that you are also an employee that's going through the same challenges as your colleagues?
Okay, a very practical question. Yeah, so you're a human being as a leader. If HR or not HR, you're a human being, and there are those who depend on you at home and at work, and sometimes you feel overstretched. Yes, we are. People will come in different forms. Accept that. They are the good, positive ones, as we said earlier, and the negative ones. They are always there. So accept that is a reality of life and you cannot take it away. As long as you know you're doing the right thing, you're being empathetic and you're trying to be fair to all, it's not about you, it's about the situation. Don't take it personally about yourself. Don't do that. Because if you do that, you will be moody, you will just talk back to them, and your tone will be negative throughout. So try and also think, you know what? It's a hard time. I feel it, I feel you, and I'm sure it's not about me. What you're saying is not about me. It's about how you're feeling. So again, here empathy comes in. So accommodate all those, listen, just listen, absorb, clear your head, and when you can respond back with a positive tone, you respond. If you can't, just say, let me get back to you. But expect all those emotions to rise and all those talks, but you need to be the one to project a positive tone, to be the one to look above the whole thing. And when they see that in you, they will realize, actually, I'm being unfair. You know, she can only do this much, and she's trying her best. It's hard enough for her to motivate us, and she has her own work to do to manage us, to manage the each of the day. She has her own goals, but try and rise above that, and don't take it personally. Because if you do that, you will engage them in a different thing altogether, not motivating.
All right.
So
I think we have.
If you require help, find some help.
Yeah.
If you require some time off, step away and come back when you can give a positive response or respond positively.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much, Nancy. I think we come to the end of this particular webinar. We have answered all questions. I'll read to you a few comments from a few people. I see one from whom? From Jocelyn. Well done, Nancy. Good presentation. We have from, let me see. There's so many comments coming in. We have one from, okay, I think that is it for the comments. I'll encourage all of us to reach out to us through the contact information on your screen. Drop us an email, write to us, give us a call on the following numbers. Also, you can follow us on social media, see what we are doing every other week in terms of webinars. Invite us to your Zoom meetings in the offices, the ones you are doing remotely. Let's see how best we can help you be motivated and also be a source of motivation to your team. We still have a few organizations who are reaching out to us as we discuss these topics and more. So feel free to reach out to us. Just let us see how best you can be able to handle this situation together as a group. So other than that, thank you so much, Nancy. It was a very exciting, educative, eye-opening session. I think I live here more motivated than even I woke up this particular morning.
I hope you all are.
Yes. So thank you so much. God bless you. Keep keeping safe. Make sure you maintain hygiene, wash your hands, wear your mask when you're going to town. Let's see how best we can be able to sort this out. So thank you so much. We have another session coming up next week on Wednesday, the same time at 11 a.m. So make sure just to follow us and see which particular topic we'll be handling next week. Thank you so much.